Hello everyone, Features like Percy back for another deck review for you today. And we are looking at today a Kickstarter release, the Hidden Leaves by Marty the Magician. Alright, so this is the Hidden Leaves from Marty the Magician. Hopefully I'm not butchering that name. It also came with a sticker. This is his logo, his hand holding a royal flush of hearts. He was actually born without hands or feet for that matter, but is an inspiration to anyone who's into magic because he actually performs despite that physical impairment, if you will. And you can see his hand, and he's pretty good. He's actually an inspiration to David Blaine and many others as well. This is the Hidden Leaves. It says Hidden Leaves playing cards on the front. The Magician, Marty the Magician, Marty Gilbert. It's almost like a wrestling name. Marty the Magician Gilbert. Anyways, and you see his logo on there. Looks like it's coming out from within the ground of the ocean. It says Hidden Leaves number 5 on one side. This is the number 5 fan back. It says Marty the Magician. And it says Nowhere, Oklahoma. Made in USA. There's actually a place called Nowhere, Oklahoma. Or he just made that up. I'm assuming he made that up, but who knows. Then, I mean, there's weird names out there, that's for sure. I know there's a town called Christmas for a fact, because I've been there. Anyways, it says Marty the Magician on top. It's a nice artwork. And then the bottom says Hidden Leaves, fan back number 5. It is printed by the USB-C. And in the back, you see the back design, which features his logo. The back design, there's a lot of information here for this one. The back design is actually inspired by, where did I write this down? Oh yes, there you go. The back design was inspired by William Morris artwork. Also, the faces and the whole kind of gist of the deck was inspired and is an homage to the designer who designed playing cards for Andrew Doherty back in 1885, including the tally-ho, and you see that reflected with how he designed the writing on the front of the tuck case, which I like. I'm a fan of tally-hos, so I think that's pretty cool. And of course, he designed this. He spent like a year doing this. He designed everything 100%. The motif of the deck also is really cool. It is play the hand life dealt you, which is exactly what he did. He didn't let his disability, physical disability, hinder him whatsoever. He became a magician despite that. And a lot of people probably in his position would have just, not done it. They would have given up. They would have just, not in his position or similar positions, they probably would not have done that. But yeah, I think that's a great motif, a great inspiration. Play the hand life dealt you, Anyways, there is no seal on the flap. It says, play the hand life dealt you. There you go. It's just a standard USB-C tuck case. No embossings or anything like that, although there's a little bit of damage, very minor. You do get an ad card that says Marty the Magician, just like you might find it in an old school deck. And your back design in blue for a lot of foliage, and of course his logo. Then you get this card with his logo on it, this little ad card. And you get this little devil card, I guess it is. It's almost like an evil magician, which could obviously be used as a joker. And then there's another one with his hand again coming out of the ocean. You see the landscape in the background holding those cards. Pretty interesting, obviously. And I know some people might not like this deck too much because it has no indexes, but that was designed like that intentionally. The quote cards in this deck, as you will see, have been based on vintage Goodall court cards and have been redrawn. The vintage aesthetic you see in the deck was done by making everything purposely imperfect. So instead of making everything perfect, you made it purposely imperfect. Also, you will find that it has just two colors like you would see in a vintage deck, just red and black on the faces, and then there's blue and red on the backs. That's something you would see in old decks because that's all they could do at the time, if I recall correctly. Part of the reason why there's no indexes is to allow you to explore forgotten card transformations and manipulations, I would say. And also, it renders any prearranged stacks completely invisible to spectators and magicians alike. So you'll never know if there's a stack. And also, you can make it look like it's a blank deck. Well, anyways, my handling is not that good enough for that stuff. I'm just going over my information very quickly. The Ace of Spades, obviously inspired by vintage aces. So somebody on their knees praying, and it says something on the bottom, or Roman numerals. I can't make out what that is. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Maybe it's his signature. It could be. It does look like it says mad. The court cards, like I said, vintage inspired. One, I like how the sword has like a blood on it, and he had to, kind of go over it and go over every little detail to make sure it was going to look good in just the two colors, obviously. The one minor thing I would comment on regarding the court cards is it might have been a little bit nicer if they were more traditional USB-C court cards, because they would be more easily identifiable without the indexes. This way it might be a little bit harder for some people, but it's a very minor thing. They're very nicely designed. I do like vintage style court cards, and I don't mind the deck without indexes. I think it looks pretty cool. And of course, the number cards one way and indexless, and you can see some imperfections on them and that they're not very straight, the pips and everything. But yeah, it's a pretty cool deck. This deck, of course, is produced by USB-C. It is on a crust B stock, a thin crust B stock, and not air cushion finish. It is a smooth finish, which you don't see a whole lot lately in decks, but he did that, and it handles very nicely as a result. Of course, the downside is that without those little air cushion pockets, because it's smooth, any dirt that gets on the cards will sit there and it will build up, and it may clump easier. But I do know a lot of cardists and magicians prefer a smooth finish, so it's a nice alternative to what we usually get with air cushion finishes. Handles great, looks pretty cool. I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10. It's a pretty solid deck. Minor little things, perhaps, that I would have done differently, I suppose. But I like it. It's a nice... He's inspirational. The deck is pretty cool and worth checking out. It should be available for most card shops and magic shops. So that is that. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I will put a link in the description to his site if he has one. I believe he does. That is that. See you next time for more. Thanks for watching.